Hello everyone and welcome to a new series I'm starting on my dying channel, FNAF Unsolved, a series where we look at the biggest unsolved mysteries of FNAF. I mean, come on guys, you know I had to do it. We got the BuzzFeed one, which I don't think anyone actually watches. We got the one by the funny green Minecraft man with all the Twitter stands, and the one by the Tech It Realm dude. So we kinda need a FNAF one, and I have decided to be the one to do it. Oh wait, it's already a thing, isn't it? You know what? That first FNAF Unsolved? Yeah, that one. It never existed. It never happened. Mine's 100% the first one, definitely. Okay, so anyway, today we're talking about the true identity of the original Phone Guy, the man who called you every night for the first 3 FNAF games. We have an identity for almost every character in this series, but not Phone Guy. The crying child is Evan, the other purple man is Mike, baby is Elizabeth, but still no identity for the Phone Guy. For years, there were many theories about who exactly this guy could be, ranging from evidence for him being the Purple Man, Henry, or even the FNAF 2 Night 7 Night Guard, Fritz Smith. However, since then, the FNAF community has become a lot more focused on the more recent lore points in the series, with the identity of the Phone Guy being put on a back burner for the past 3 years. However, today I think I have come up with a pretty likely theory about the true identity of FNAF's Phone Guy. But before we talk about that, I'd like to take a deeper look at some of the characters in the FNAF universe that were once suspected to be the Phone Guy. The Purple Man William Afton was first suspected to be the Phone Guy in 2015 after the release of FNAF 2 for several reasons. The first being that the Purple Man's first appearance in the FNAF 2 minigame was when he was seen with a security guard's badge, as the Phone Guy admitted to being a security guard at one point, saying on night 1 of the first game that he was in the office before you.
I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact.
The Purple Man also holds an object that holds the rough shape of a telephone. And in one of the FNAF 2 phone calls, Phone Guy mentions how Foxy has always been his favorite animatronic.
I love those old characters. Did you ever see Foxy the Pirate? Oh wait, Foxy. Oh yeah, Foxy!
And again, back in the death minigame called Foxy Go Go Go, we can see the Purple Man standing by Pirate's Cove looking at Foxy and smiling. And the death of the Phone Guy on FNAF 1 Night 4 matches up with the death of the Purple Man from FNAF 3 Night 5. A lot of things line up with this original interpretation of the Phone Guy's character. However, a lot more things don't. This theory was pretty clearly debunked when Sister Location came out, and the Purple Man was revealed to be a completely different character with a different voice and story. The phone-like object we see the Purple Man holding was most likely some sort of spring-locking device used to fix the animatronics. Okay, next theory. After the release of FNAF 6, many people speculated that the Phone Guy was Henry, William Afton's business partner and original creator of the FNAF robots, along with the father of Charlie, the girl who would later become the puppet. Both seem to have good intentions and are extremely knowledgeable about the animatronics to a further extent than anyone else. Both even have similar voices and were mysteriously killed by the robots. However, while the voices may be similar, they are still voiced by different people. The Phone Guy, of course, being voiced by Scott Cawthon himself, and Henry being voiced by Dave Steele. The timeline doesn't match up either, with the Phone Guy presumably dying sometime just before FNAF 1, and Henry surviving long enough to die in the FNAF 6 fire with all the other characters. Also, if you remember back to FNAF 2, the Phone Guy nonchalantly spoke about how he disliked the puppet.
I'll be honest, I never liked that puppet thing. It's always thinking, and it can go anywhere.
And as we all know, the girl who possesses the puppet is Henry's daughter, so I don't think Henry would talk about the robot that he created to protect his daughter like that. So I think it's safe to say that the Phone Guy being Henry Emily is pretty damn unlikely. Okay, so the current consensus of the FNAF community is that the Phone Guy's true identity is the FNAF 2 custom night guard, Fritz Smith. The main reason for this is that on the Night 6 phone call, Phone Guy mentions that he'll be moving to the night shift, and Jeremy Fitzgerald will be moving to the day shift.
You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay? When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take a night shift myself.
Then the next night, we are playing as a new character, Fritz Smith, where Jeremy Fitzgerald had in fact been moved to the day shift and got his frontal lobe bitten. Now this theory does line up pretty well, however the evidence here is mostly circumstantial, and there are a few things mentioned in the game that put a monkey wrench in this theory. The first thing to notice here is that Phone Guy actually says that he'll take the night shift when the place reopens, saying that it's going to close down. And of course at the end of the game, we do get newspapers saying that the FNAF 2 location has closed. However, there is absolutely no evidence saying that it reopens sometime after that, meaning that Fritz Smith really couldn't be the phone guy, as Fritz Smith was put in the day after Jeremy Fitzgerald quit his job, and not after a long interval where the place had been closed and then reopened to hire new employees. Now, some people have actually theorized that these phone guy calls are much older than we first thought, and that the FNAF 2 location actually closed twice. Once before the game started, and of course once just after. And that was originally when the phone guy recorded his calls, and Jeremy Fitzgerald is actually the phone guy, coming back to the location after it being closed to fulfill his promise of taking the night shift. But then, that brings up the question, why would the phone guy play his own tape recordings for himself? It just doesn't make sense. But there is another solution for the identity of Fritz Smith. It is strongly hinted at in the game that Fritz Smith is actually William Afton going undercover in the location. In the phone calls, Phone Guy mentions how the establishment is very wary of new security guards, as the killer could be attempting to pose as one.
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees.
More evidence for this is at the end of the game. Fritz Smith is fired for the exact same reasons as Michael Afton is fired: odor and tampering with the animatronics. Not only are we always hearing about how similar William and Michael Afton are, but from the FNAF 3 minigames, we know what this tampering consisted of: taking apart the animatronics at the FNAF 2 location. So while it's definitely possible that Fritz Smith is the phone guy, I think it's a lot more likely that William Afton is the one we are seeing here. So now that we've gotten the old phone guy theories out of the way, let's talk about who I think he really is. Surprisingly, there has been some new information that has come out in recent years that could finally give the phone guy an identity, using newer information following the release of FNAF VR. In FNAF VR, there are 16 collectible cassette tapes hidden throughout the game that assemble Springtrap's code while sprinkling in little hints about the game's new lore. In the tapes, that girl with the really annoying voice mentions an indie developer hired by Fazbear Entertainment to cover up the crimes of William Afton through making video games.
They told us that the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer. But that's not true at all. Fazbear Entertainment hired the game developer. Those indie games were designed to conceal and make light of what happened.
These games are presumably the same death minigames we get to see in FNAF 2 and 3. Because remember, it's been theorized at this point that the games that the dev created weren't the actual FNAF games, in fact the 8-bit minigames seen throughout the series. So what if this indie developer hired by Fazbear Entertainment was the phone guy seen throughout FNAF? I know, it seems kind of out there, but think about it. First off, the indie developer was shown in the game to look exactly like Scott Cawthon, and the phone guy, as I said earlier, was voiced by Scott Cawthon. Now this could just be a coincidence, but what about the phone guy's extensive knowledge of the FNAF locations? There's only 3 people we know who know the horrors of Freddy Fazbear's inside and out: William Afton, Henry Emily, and Phone Guy. And it is implied that the game dev knew everything about the horrors of Freddy's and the ins and outs of the company as well, as it seemed that they were paying him to make these games for him to keep his mouth shut about what he knew. I think that there is a definite case to be made for the phone guy being the one to develop these games for Fazbear Entertainment. So this makes me wonder for the future of FNAF, as the phone guy didn't die till FNAF 1, and Security Breach seems to be a prequel set in the 1980s. Will Phone Guy ever make a return? Will we ever see him again? Only the future of Five Nights at Freddy's will tell. So was the phone guy really Fritz Smith who got moved to the night shift just before the bite of 87? Or is that merely a coincidence? Or does his true identity lie in the game developer hired by Fazbear Entertainment? Well, that, my friends, is the unsolved mystery of the Five Nights at Freddy's phone guy. So thanks for watching the video, and this video in particular was a complete pain to edit. So if you could please click that subscribe button and make my hours and hours of suffering worth it, that would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, if you did actually like my video, then please click the like button too, to boost all that engagement and watch time and stuff I pretend not to care about. And so with that being said, goodbye. I will see you in the next video.